This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So last session, we were discussing about this catalog component. So setting up the catalog component actually, and we were having this, so certain problem in actually running the code of that particular one. And what is the problem we identified there is, so if the user is already created and you are trying to recreate that particular user, you're getting some problem. Okay, so first we need to address that particular problem. So how do we address that? Let me get into that. And so let me go log into that particular server. Okay, so here is a catalog machine. So DevOps 321, and here, so here it is national scripting ls. So now go to Redshift project ls. So over here, so just go for make space catalog and sudo. Our creation of application user actually is failing. So I need to verify whether that particular before application user creation, I need to verify whether that particular user is already there or not. The user is already there, so I just want to ignore it. Okay, so that means so how do I check whether the user is there or not? I can take the help of id command. So id space, like let's say if I give id space if I give id space CentOS, okay, if I give id space CentOS, you can see that this is the CentOS user it is telling. Okay, so here if I go with echo $? Of the id command, it is giving 0 because the user is there. If I give CentOS 1, okay, the user doesn't exist. I'll go with echo $1. So that means that user doesn't exist. Okay, so this is how I want to catch that particular one. All right, so now here I want to validate, so id space, okay, which user you are checking, RoboShop, and I don't want to display any output on the screen, so I'll just take it to log file. The user is there, and now I want to check the validation of the exit status, case $? Case $? And so case $? In if it is equal to 0, and I want to say that, so case $? Case $? in 0, which is if it is 0, so 0 means you don't need to do anything basically. Okay, so that means you don't need to do anything. So you can just say that, so this is all successful, this is all good. Okay, stat $? and application user creation of user, is there. Or else what you can do is, you want to forcefully say that this is good, I'll say give 0, right? $? means you're taking the status and sending, rather than that forcefully I'm putting 0. So that means it's always good only, right? So status, I'm saying that the application user is okay, good. Okay, whereas in the case of 1, okay, so what I need to do, the user doesn't exist, so that's where the user had come into picture, and then I'll check the status. Okay, so syntax of case command is double semicolon to end that. So here also double semicolon to end that, and as that to end the case statement. So this is what I wanted to do. So this is the logic I'm actually trying to impose here. And so now let's say git space pull, or let's say space pull and do that. Now you pull it. So now actually it is trying to go and okay, proceed basically. Okay, so now you see this. So application user is just putting as successful. It's not really creating. It is identifying that particular. It's identifying that particular. It is identifying that particular user is already there, and it is skipping basically, and it is fine. Now extract artifacts is something wrong there. Okay, we don't know. So I just press Control C so to come out, because extracting should not take that much time, and I give cat. So actually extracting is asking for yes or no to replace, and unzip I haven't used a force option, so I forget to mention this option. So unzip -o is a forceful option, so that will force it. Now git pull. Yeah, so now extract artifacts is fine. Node.js dependencies is actually going on. All right, so I just want to go with sudo rm-rf/home/roboshop and then star. Okay, I just want to run my code once again. Okay, it went fine. Okay, install Node.js dependencies. Yesterday we had a problem, but now why I'm not getting that particular problem is so let's see. So cd slash or cat/dmp and then roboshop.log file. Actually, it is doing is nothing. Okay, it's actually doing. It's not really doing the npm install. Okay, so sudo su hyphen. So cd slash home slash roboshop do ls. So cd catalog and do ls and rm-rf node modules, and I will go and say npm install. It's actually trying to do, but usually we get an error. Let's see. We're running as a root user probably for the first time. Yesterday it has given that. So yeah, but later it is going on. Okay, all right. So, but still, for the first time when you're running, also it will throw an error that you're running as a root user, because all these files are in the permissions of root user. Okay, so and as a root user, you try to install the modules. Usually, the Node.js will so not allow you and so continue that particular one. But somehow we are actually getting it here. Okay, how do I simulate the issue? So basically, I'll terminate the instance. I will get a new instance. I will launch a new instance. Launch instance. Launch from template. I will launch another instance. Okay. Okay, this is fine, and this is fine. So the new instance I'm going to now say as a catalog. So I will just try to SSH once again to the new machine, and I'll clone it and I'll try it, because yesterday we got the issue, today we are not getting it. No, let me first clone that, right? So where is my GitHub repository? So github.com/53. So let's get the code and go to the shell scripting. ls cd roboshop project ls. So make space or sudo make space catalog. Because make is not there. So yum install make. I'm just curious to check the log, and I'll just log into another session to the same instance. Now tail-app/tmp/roboshop.log file. Yeah, this is the error. This is the error. This is expected. This is supposed to be coming up. Okay. What is the problem here is, okay, so root does not have permission to the access to this particular directory. Root has permissions, but actually Node.js is telling that you should not run it as a root user. So that's the idea basically. Okay. And if I press Ctrl C, okay, I did it. And so vie/tmp roboshop.log file. I just want to carefully look into the logs. In the very starting, it will tell what is the actual error. We'll find the solution, appropriate solution also. Yeah. So root does not have permission to the access to the directory. Temporary directory using this. So GYP warn access user does not have permission access. So this is the error basically. And to this there is a solution. Okay, so the Stack Overflow has a solution. All you need to do is you just need to put an option. Okay, so an unsafe permission. Okay, enable this particular option while you do it. Okay, that's it. That's the only thing. All right, and if you do this, it will work. So here yum install, go with the even unsafe permissions. That's it. You're done. Okay, so from the next time you will not face that particular issue anymore. That option, if it is there, that is okay. Yeah, it's done. All right, so this is how we can okay, we have set up the so modules. But actually, if you remember, so all the permissions of this particular files sudo, okay, so sudo su hyphen, so cd/home/roboshop and do ls-l. So all these files are in the name of root, right? Now I want to change this to actually to so chown roboshop roboshop2 this directory, and -R. Okay, so because it is a directory, okay, chown change the permissions of the file, but it's a directory. I'm using -R option. So this is another thing you just fix in between. So all I need is the permissions. Whether I run it as a root user or another user doesn't really matter. So end of the day, it needs permissions, proper permissions, appropriate permissions. So that's where I'm actually putting this particular one. Okay, so let me push the code and let me give a try. Yeah, So sudo ls-lf/home/roboshop. Now you see this, you got roboshop. And even the files inside that, if I take a look inside catalog also, all files are in the roboshop. Okay, so either you switch to the user and execute the commands, it generates the files in the name of the same user, or what you can do is you can generate as a root user and you fix the permissions. Anything is fine. Okay, for an example, now let's say I want to create a file. Okay, sudo su hyphen. I want to create a file as a roboshop user. I'll say su hyphen roboshop. Okay, this is one approach. So touch /tmp/sample. Okay, and that's it. And ls-lf/tmp/sample. You see this? It is actually in the roboshop user. So this is one way. Or if I'm a root user, so I want to do it in another way. So touch /tmp/sample1. Okay, and ls-lf/tmp/sample1. Now it is actually having a root user. So now what you can do is chown roboshop roboshop and this particular file. Okay, sorry, this particular file. Both is same, right? Both is same. See, previously I had to switch the user and do that. Now actually as a root user I'm doing it, but yeah, fixing it what I want basically. Either of the way is okay, right? So that's what I'm trying to achieve. Just execute it as a normal user. Okay, and I'm just trying to put the permissions. Okay, that's all. And so the next steps, basically whatever we have, we'll just follow them. Any questions on this so far? Sorry, Vicky. So we're not done yet. Actually, we're done only this particular part. So the next part is actually going to be we need to update the IP address of MongoDB server in systemd service file. Okay. So now this particular file will be there. So this file will have the Mongo DNS name. Okay, Mongo DNS name. So I need to update that. So how do I update that? SCD command. Okay, and we do that. But basically, so I need to create a DNS record for that actually. So how do I create a DNS record is, so Mongo server we already created it. All I need to go to Route 53 and create an appropriate DNS record. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to first of all I need to change this, right? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to say that scd-i-e. So search for search for Mongo DNS name and replace it with the MongoDB test.devops b53.tk. In your case, you will be using your own domain. That's it. You'll be using your own domain. Okay, so scd-ie Mongo DNS name, search for Mongo DNS name and replace it with Mongo-test. So that means I need to create this particular DNS record. This DNS record is not there. I need to first create it. Okay, so I want to put some status here stating info. So updating MongoDB, updating catalog, updating catalog. So configuring catalog, startup script, configuring catalog, startup script. All right, so here I'm going to say that stat $? And So startup script configuration. So startup script configuration is successful. So this is what you're going to get. It is successful. And what is the next thing is you're going to move the file and you just follow these particular steps. Okay. So info setup system D service. Okay. So setup system D service and for catalog. And so here you just do this, and after that you do this, and after that you do this, and finally you do this. So but enable, I would like to put it in the before. Why? Because I want to check the status of start only, not the other ones. So I'll take this and put it here, and so stat $? And so actually only this much is that one. So stat $? So catalog system D service is successful. Okay, so I will go for info, and what I'm saying is what I'm going to say here is info, and I'll go and say install, sorry, dot so starting catalog service. Okay, and here so catalog service start is successful or failure, it will print here. Okay, now all the statements are ready, so let me push the code, and here let me pull it. Yeah, so what all the steps we have out there, we just kept every steps out there. So now I think my catalog service is running fine. So now I'll go and give tail-f/var log messages. Okay, so sudo tail-f. So still you're getting Mongo network error. Of course, you'll get it network error. Why? Because MongoDB is not there. So first we will try to run the automation. I mean, make the automation, then we'll think about running it, in proper later. For now, it is fine. Okay, I'm okay. Even though there are errors, that's okay. We'll fix at the ending. So what is the thing we have here is we have a problem with the I cannot go ahead and use IPs because it's IP, right? If I use an IP in the automation, dynamically grabbing the IP is gonna be a little tricky part. Okay, so that is where I'm actually trying to put it as a DNS name rather than actually using a straightforward IP address. We want to use a DNS name, so I will use DNS name. Yeah, so that's the catalog part. So the same way. Now the next component is Redis and user. Okay, Redis user card. So these three components also will be done. Any questions in the meantime? First, let me. Redis.sh, and what are the other two components? User.sh, and what is the other component is cart.sh. Okay, so let's do this. So Redis.sh, and I'll say winbash. Just okay, let me copy these commands. What I need to do. Okay, so first the very starting lines. Setup. So this is the command which are doing, and after that I think you should be doing this, and after that you should be doing this, and finally install Redis. Okay, so now here I would like to say /log_file. Okay, and so here what I wanted to do is info and info, and I will say that here it is actually setup Redis repos, setup Redis yum repos. Okay, and this is the first thing you have to install this yum utils one to get it this particular yum config manager command, and after that you install these RPMs. You are going to get some repo files basically. Okay, you get the repo files, and after getting the repo files you are going to configure this particular enable remrep. Now if any of these, if this command is a failure, okay, if this two commands is a failure, this command is going to be a failure, because yum config manager will come only if you have this installed. Okay, so that's where, and so this will run only if you have this repo only, then enable remi will work. If any of these two commands failure, the third command is going to be a failure. So that's where I'm actually going to check the status of only a third command. I not really need to check each and every command status also. So yum repos configure, yum repos configured. Okay, done. So info. So so install Redis, and then stat. So you need to send it to the log file. Install Redis, and Redis install stat of $?. Okay, and that's it. And the next one is you need to update the Redis configuration file. So you know how to do that. So -i-e. So search for 127.0.0.1. Okay, so substitute this one with 0.0.0.0/ this file. Okay, and system security. So info, so setup Redis configuration. Okay, and here stat $. So Redis. So those keywords is always your choice. Your English, your choice, your options. So the technicality is these only, right? So majorly. So Redis and basically Redis configuration setup is complete or failure. You will get it. Success or pass, you get the here. And finally, so sorry, info and start Redis service. And you want to go with Redis Redis our startup is a success or a failure, you get it here. So let's see whether this script is really working or not. I'll go to the template, and so I can choose my template, I think I already launched one instance. Okay, so this is going to be some Redis user. Okay, so I go to the Redis server. Let's quickly go there. Exit. So I have to clone the repo. So cd shell scripting ls cd oversharp sudo. Okay, so sudo make space. You didn't update the make script basically. So here make actually should be updated. Yeah, so here I have to give Redis and Redis user part whatever the input you give, it calls appropriate script here, and sudo make no, Redis, but I need to pull the code. It's just pull. Yeah. Redis is quite simple. I don't think so it's a failure. It becomes any failure also. Yeah. All right. And so the next thing would be is the user service. User is mostly like catalog only. Okay. I will just copy all the content and put it on the user side. What I'm telling is this catalog component is user now, and set up user component. Install Node.js, it is quite common. Install user is also quite common. Okay, so download catalog application. No, now you're downloading user application. So what is the URL? So this is the URL, and you're going to say this is the URL. Now extract artifacts, it goes into the component and go into the RoboShop component and archive artifacts, which is fine. And npm install is also same, is fine. And here, set the permissions is fine. So configuring the user startup script. And so in the user startup script, so what all you have, we need to check it out. Okay. So here also I am going to say, I will say component. Okay. So just to avoid the hard coding. So there in the user service, what all I have, we'll take a look. Okay. And or even I can check it out right away. So there are two things need to be modified. One is Redis endpoint, and here it is a Mongo endpoint. Okay, so Redis endpoint I need to modify. So sed-i Redis, and -e is to execute multiple commands also. In sed you can execute multiple commands in a single shot in a single sed command by using -e. The first one what you want to perform, -e second one what you want to perform. In each and every line, all these steps will be performed. Okay, so Redis Redis -test or something like that .devops p53.tk. okay, / you forwarded that also, and here it's a Mongo endpoint now. So Mongo endpoint is a variable, and here it's not Mongo DNS name, so Mongo endpoint is a variable. Okay, done. And what next? Configuring this is done, and set up systemd service. So I just need to replace this catalog. user. Okay. Anywhere catalog is there? No, nowhere. Okay. So we just replaced everything. Now let's log into the user server. Okay, so sudo make user. Perfect. Okay, so it might not work basically. That's okay. Sudo tail-f/var log messages. So you get errors. That's fine. But as of now, I'm focusing on only installing it. That's it. Whether it works, doesn't work, really doesn't matter to me right now. Okay. Once after we done every component, yeah, we'll think about that. But at this point of time, I'm talking about. Okay. So this point of time, so that's not really a big deal. Okay. And yeah. And the next thing, what we're going to do is the cart. So the cart is also as same as whatever we have in cart is also as same as okay, so this user and catalog service, just copy paste and replace those keywords wherever you want to replace. That is fine. Okay, so let me just go there. This user, just take this, go to the cart.sh, this one. So this is cart. Okay, so set up cart component and Node.js nothing, user nothing, and download cart application. So cart application, we want to download that URL, will bring it up. So cart and the URL. So now here extract artifacts is the one, and install Node.js, this is the one, and component. So here cart for cart. So those also you can parameterize actually, but still that's okay. So I'm saying like I can see some user. So create user application. This is application. So application user creation, that's okay. All right, I think this is fine. So as this is a fine, so I will just go and take a box and I will just set up this particular one. All right, so what is this? We'll go to the instances and I'll launch an instance. server is still coming up. Okay, so here, so we, no, not user. What am I doing? Cart. Sudo make cart. Make is not happening anything for cart. Okay, go to them here. Cart.sh. Oh, I didn't push the code. Sorry. All right. Okay, it's done. Nice. The same way we'll proceed with the other applications. So now what all the other things we have? So we have, I think, 4 more components. So what are the 4 more components? MySQL, shipping, RabbitMQ, and payment. Okay. So MySQL. Let's start with MySQL. So now what you need to do is I just need to take this MySQL first of all, right? So here. Okay. New file mysql.sh. Okay. And you just take this much here and here. Okay, so info, set up my SQL yum repositories. Okay, so how do you do that? So this is the one, and so start question mark. So set up repository is successful or failure. It will show the status. And the next one is you need to remove one package and install one package, of course. So I'll just go and give info. So install my SQL. Okay. So server, you're installing the MySQL service. So you remove the package, and if you remove the package only, then the next one is actually you can install it successfully. So that's where $log_file is fine. So take this. If you remove this package only, this will go into successful. So checking one status is fine for them. All right. So here, start $question mark. So install what MySQL installation. MySQL installation is successful or failure. It will show the status. The next thing is start the MySQL server. Okay, I'll do that. And I'll just go here and say that systemctl and info. So start MySQL service. Okay. MySQL service startup is failure or successful. You'll get in the status side. Okay. So, and what is the next one? So now grab the default password. Okay. So you'll find out the default password over here, and we need to grab that particular password. So how do you grab that particular password? Let's take a look here. And so first of all, I need a machine to run this much so far. I'll go here and launch instance, and I'll go with okay. So sudo yum install make git clone and a cd shell scripting. Did I push the code? No, I don't think so. So cd roboshop project and git space pull, and then sudo make MySQL. So now there is some error, basically ambiguous redirect. Where is that problem? Install MySQL server. Install MySQL server. Okay. And after that, what I'm giving, line number 18. So this line number 18 is the problem. Okay, there is actually a log underscore okay, log underscore files and log underscore file. Okay, it's not files, actually it's a log file. So mistake. Okay, so I will just go and do this. Okay, so MySQL startup is also successful. Now you will be getting, so sudo tail -f /var log mysql.log file. So we're actually telling it is already started. So now here, if you do the grep of this one, according to the documentation, if you just do this particular grep of this one, and you will be getting a permission denied. Sorry, because you don't have that. Okay. Now you're getting two passwords, two lines. Basically, I want the exact line. So that thing, I think I should be searching for this particular word, appropriate word, rather than temp. So this is having the password. Okay. And out of this, I want to get to the last field. Okay. So how do I get the password? Is a password in the last field. AWK can help us. Okay. So AWK can give print $1, you get first field. Okay, $2 second field. At the same time, you don't know the any field what you have actually. You don't know how many number of fields are there, but you want the nth field. Okay, NF. $1 is first field, $2 is second field. Okay, like that. And NF is nothing but nth field. Okay, so you have this particular password. So we need to take this particular password and we wanted to do the remaining steps basically. What is the remaining steps I want to do is I want to I want to do a little bit tweaking here. So first of all, I need to set a password and then I have to run these commands. Okay, so what I'll do is echo this one. Okay, so alter user root @ localhost identified by what is the password? ABCD @ 1 2 3 4 5 or something like that. Okay, so or a little complex also, P @ $. Okay, $$ means it again confuses. Okay, P @ $, $W. Let's remove $. $. is a variable. So let's use this RP5US. Okay, 1 2 3. I'm just putting some dummy password, which is some complex, which MySQL always expects as a complex password. It will not take this plain password basically. And after that, so what I'm telling, hey, this how my MySQL is actually validating the password, that it should have one capital character, that it should have one number, one special character like that. So how do we do that? Is there's a validate plugin, validate password plugin is there. I'm just uninstalling that plugin to keep the password very plain, password as a password. That's it. Or if you don't want this line is fine actually. If you're okay to keep it all the time, even a complex password also, you don't need to really run these two lines. Okay. Whenever you're loading the schema, just use this password. That's it. And yeah, this is fine. And I will go with this. I should better give it in double quotes because the single quotes are already used in between. Okay, so I'll use double quotes and read the output to /tmp/schema.sql file. Okay, anyhow, this will always be successful. There's only a echo statement and you read it into a file. There's no point in checking the status. But now I want to run as a MySQL user. Okay, MySQL user, and I want to grab the root password. So how do I grab the root password? This is the way. How do you grab the root password? So here MySQL _default password is equal to $, this one. Okay, now MySQL default password is this one, and what you have to do is MySQL this one -u root and -p and $. We are going to put the MySQL default password. Okay, and input that particular file. So which file I want to take as an input? So the schema.sql file. What you're doing is to the MySQL, you're actually using input redirector and loading that particular file. Now loading those particular file, it will be having a 3 lines, so one by one line, it will execute. It will just execute one by one line there. Okay, fine. So MySQL root -u root, and this is a MySQL password, default password, and /tmp/ okay, so schema.sql file. Okay, now let's run this much and let's bother about the status later, printing the status later. I just want to bother about the functionality is working fine or not. Then I will put it. There is an option. So first of all, you're connecting to an expired password. Yes, you should be connecting with an expired password. So here you just use this MySQL expired password, MySQL startup, and I think over here. So the code is getting pushed. Yeah. So that means now MySQL password is been replaced. Okay. So if I just go and give mysql -u root -p, password is password. Perfect. So yeah, it set one password. Okay, it removed the plugin. After removing the plugin, whatever the password I keep, it doesn't really bother to that. It's actually using that. Okay, so password I'm setting as password. Now everything is fine. For the first time, it worked without any issues. Okay, now fine. So now what I have to do is info reset my SQL password. Okay, and start $? So password reset. So the output to $log_file. Okay, now if I go and run the code once again, so you will start seeing a challenges. Okay, you'll start seeing errors. Let's see. You see this? Password reset is a failure. Why password reset is a failure? Because you are connecting to the password already. You're connecting the password, okay, to MySQL root password, default password. This is already changed, but still you're connecting with the default password only, nah? Right? So your password is already resetted, but still you're actually going and connecting to the default password. So that's where it's a failure. It's a failure. So you need to ensure that you always use the right password, okay, whether it is a default password or the resetted password. So how do I do that? How do I do that? So I can do that by pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is, I'll always check whether my password is resetted or not resetted. Okay, how do I check it out? So by simple. So show data, echo, like let's say show databases. I'll say show databases pipe mysql -u root and -p password, and you get some output, and you got the output and you look for echo status. So that means you connected with the password called as password. And if you give a wrong password, let's say password 1 or something like that, you will get an exit status $? Now what is the thing I can verify? I will just run some dummy command to determine my password has been resetted or not resetted. Okay, this one, and redirect the output to $log_file. Okay, so now case $? Okay, tell us $? In what is the question mark in. If you are getting a status number 1, then what you have to do is you have to reset the password, or you take this particular reset password to the starting. Okay, so if it is equal to 0, if it is equal to 0, like last time how you did it, so stat you forcefully send 0 number, right? So and then it's actually reset. Okay, done. And semicolon, and the 0, oh sorry, this is 0. If it is 0, it's 1, and if it is 1, then we start resetting the password, and that is where this, that is where this, and double semicolon, that's that. Okay, all right, so this is how I make it successful all the time. Okay, if it is not resetted, then it will go and reset. Okay, if it is already resetted, okay, then it will not bother. If it is not resetted, then it will go and reset it. Okay, so that's the condition I'm coming up with, and let's see. Perfect. The password reset is coming without any issues. Okay, so but I need to terminate this instance, and if I launch another instance, I need to validate whether it is really working fine or not, because running on the same instance again and again, so you probably miss something. Okay, so that we can do it once again later, but for now this is okay. MySQL is fine. Any questions? Hope I'm not going too fast. So okay, so now MySQL, you need to take this URL and you download it. Okay, so here download MySQL schema. Okay, you download the schema, and after downloading the schema, you just need to extract this and load the schema. So, schema, and go into that location, cd ngib this ngib -o. Okay, so MySQL -u root password and this one. So and then any outputs redirect to so file and start a $? Start $? And you're having $? You're saying that schema. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, ngip I didn't redirect the output, so that's why it was displaying on the screen. So I'll ngip redirect right now. Okay, perfect. All went fine, no issues. So yeah, that's how the MySQL part is also a bit complete. So we have 3 more components. So one is shipping and RabbitMQ and payment. Okay, so today is Friday, right? Yeah, why don't we just complete them? Okay, so tomorrow we can wrap it up at the we can wrap it up the shell scripting part. Okay, so the remaining topics, whatever we have got so far, and we'll talk about those things, and we'll try to improvise our script a little bit. Okay, so with those options as well. All right, so let's try to complete that, and I'll just go with while shipping data sets. So we're not really talking about any new options here all the time. We're just using the same options. We're just writing the code, that's it. Okay, so payment is the last one, and RabbitMQ is this one, and it's actually there. Shipping, RabbitMQ, the payment one. Okay, so let's go with the shipping.sh, and over here you'll just okay, so open it. So here also very simple steps. You need to install Maven. Okay, so install Maven, you'll say, or you can copy it from here. It's almost same. So instead of Node.js, you'll say Maven, and you'll be installing Maven. So it's actually Maven installation, create application user. So it's fine. Okay, done. And the next one is so download the repo and do the things. Okay, so downloading the repo is also you can get it from here somewhere. So download repo and extract artifacts. So download shipping application, and where is my shipping URL? Okay, extract and robust component. Yeah, fine. This is fine. And what next? Next. We'll go into that location. So here is our commands you're going to run. Okay. So info compile shipping application. So you're going to just do this. Ambient clean package. So if clean package is a failure, I'm giving clean package here. If clean package is a failure, the shipping.jar file will not move. Okay. So that is where I'm just going to check the status of move command only. Okay. So shipping compile is successful or failure, will keep it. And finally, so you're just going to do this. So before to that, you all do it as a root user. So what you need to do, so chown. I think you already have that command here. You just give as is chown. Okay, done. And after this, so what we need to do is we need to update. Even the steps are same. So configuring shipping configuration file, and what are the things you need to replace in shipping. In the shipping, you need to replace. Let's see. So in the shipping service file, so what all the things I need to change? Let's cross check from here. So cart endpoint is one thing you are going to change. So which is search for cart endpoint. So which it is substitute cart endpoint with cart-test dot DevOps b53.tk. Okay, so that is one thing, and a -e. So search for DB host. What is that? DB underscore host or DB host. Search for DB host and replace it with mysql-test dot DevOps b53.tk /. Okay, so substitute SCD command. It's like a V editor substitute we talked about already, right? And yeah, this is the one you have. All right. So now we are actually going to do the analysis. So set up system service for shipping. All right. So I think that's all. If I just go and do this, and I will say instances, and I will say launch instance from template. I'll go for 3 instances directly in single shot. 3, and here. Okay. So git space clone. So cd shell scripting, cd sharp ls, and sudo make space shipping. We'll stop after shipping. I only feel like, we're talking too many things in one day. So you should also need some time for practice. So we'll stop after this, but we'll see this much part. So there is a problem. So compile is actually went into a problem. Okay, compile went into a problem because actually you have not given $? Here. So actually you have given directly shipping compile. So that's where $? Is missing. The first argument is nothing but something that, compile, shipping compile went through. That's a string. It is actually expecting a number and do that. And so that's where it actually caused the problem. So let's fix this. Yeah, done. Okay. So what we're trying to achieve, so scripting is very small. If you see that, so the scripting components is very, very small. And we kept our effort in standardizing the things in the very starting, using the functions, appropriate functions, using the proper structure. I made it. Okay. So, and that's it. So there is nothing much there, right? So, any tool you take it, this is how it will be. Like options are very limited. So the how you adopt it is actually really matters. Okay, so how do you use it really matters. Okay, when it comes to scripting or any tool, basically. So concept wise, it's quite simple. How you elaborate it according to your logic, okay, is quite important thing. That's what I would say. Any questions? We'll stop here. We'll continue the remaining 2 components tomorrow. You need some time for practice. Yeah, any questions? Questions, confusions?
Hello,
No.
Raghu. Venkatesh here.
Yeah.
Raghu? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
not related to the. I don't have any question. As of now, you've done it. Say, I have just simple question. Say, how the difference between say this? I want to know about this the chef and the puppet. Say,
yeah.
these
You will
tools.
little understand on the Ansible part. I will explain in the Ansibling. While we do the Ansible.
Okay.
So configuration management tool. So it's better than shell scripting, just to answer. Okay, it's better than shell scripting. So what all the problems we have in shell scripting, I'll try to give a context tomorrow. So like we did a manual process, we found out what all the problems. We actually started shell scripting. And so what is the solutions we achieved actually from here, and what are the problems still you have here? We'll start addressing them. Yeah, so you will start seeing, shell scripting is also some disadvantages, but I mentioned that, so shell scripting is inevitable. So that means you cannot avoid the shell scripting at all. Okay, so even though that is not that great, but shell scripting is always there in the operating system. So you need to know that. Okay, So that's for sure you should know this. Otherwise, we can skip this topic and we can jump into the tools directly. So where we're putting a big time learning shell scripting is mandatory in the the OS world, basically. Yeah. So, but it has its own problems. Depends upon the scenario. Okay. So we'll do the case study tomorrow a little.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? Okay, all right, it's all good. We can meet in tomorrow's session and we can continue. Anything, reach me on Slack. Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye. Okay.
Thank you.